All right, guys, hopefully you have had some time to think about your identity and you crafted your identity statement and you have posted a video of yourself reading your identity statement out loud to the Epic Dad crew. So if you're here and you haven't done that yet, that is a prerequisite for your value section. So if you haven't done that, go back, watch the video on identities, do the exercise on your identity statement and post that to the group first. But if you have done that, welcome to the values section. Let me share my screen here and let's go over this part B of the first pillar, which is your identity and values. Okay, so values. We break this into two different sections, into your personal values and your family values. And this is foundational, guys, because your values are really going to be what is the filter for how you make decisions in life, right? And so on your journey to becoming an epic dad, you're going to be faced with a lot of difficult decisions. You're going to be tempted. You're going to be confused. You're not going to know which decision to make. There's going to be difficult choices, right? And so how you know which path to take, how you know which fork to take in the road is through your values. Does it align with your personal values and does it align with your family values? And the right direction is always going to be the one that aligns with your identity, your vision, and your values, because it's your journey at the end of the day, right? It's not somebody else's. And it can be tough sometimes, especially if we haven't been living purposefully, if we haven't had these values set. We've just been making decisions as they come and for what we think is the best decision. But taking your time on really crafting your own personal and family values is really going to be your filter moving forward. And so what I want you guys to do in this exercise is I want you to choose your own values. And so that's going to be your personal values and your family values, which is so important and impactful, which we'll cover here in a minute. But for each value, what I want you to do is I want you to choose about 6 to 10 values that identify with you, to your core. This is what I believe in. This is what I value most. And for each of those values, what I want you to do is to write down your own description of that value. Don't just, Google it. What does this word mean? I want you to think of what does it mean to you? And then I want you to think about how you're going to measure if you're in alignment with that value. So this is what it looks like, guys. If you hit the PDF button, this is going to pull up for you. I've got a list here of a lot of values. So there's, I don't know, maybe 100 here or so. These are not exhaustive. Obviously, there's a lot of values out there. So if you don't find one that resonates with you, you can always bring one in, that resonates more with you. But these are a great starting point to think about, what do I value? Which one of these are important to me? There's a whole list here. And then what I want you to do is, once you have ones that resonate with you, that are most important to you, I want you to, like I said, write them down here. I want you to write down what it means to you personally. So in your own words, what does this value mean? And then how you're going to measure if you're in alignment with this value. And so I've got mine for an example here that I want you to go through. I'm not going to read through all of them, but I'll read through the first couple. So a value for me, a personal value, is ownership. And so ownership to me means that I own everything within my control and I dictate the outcome by my planning. That says should say thought. My planning, thought, and action. You guys can obviously see I'm big on action. I'm not big on reviewing my work. So that should say thought, but it says I own everything within my control and I dictate the outcome by my planning, thought, and action. Now that's great, right? But how am I going to measure that I'm in alignment with that? So as you guys go through and you start recapping the day, recapping the week, these are great questions to ask. Did I live in alignment with this, right? And so my measure is, did I do the things that I said I was going to do? Am I playing the victim? Or am I taking ownership? And so that's a question that I can write down. And at the end of the week, at the end of the day, I can ask myself that question and be brutally honest with myself. Did I live in alignment with ownership? Second one is integrity here. Again, I won't read all of these, but I'll read the first two. So the second one, integrity. What that means to me is I live in alignment with my values, cutting zero corners for what I believe, especially when it becomes difficult. And how I'm going to measure that is I have a daily process for checking in and ensuring that I am living with integrity. So that means at the end of the day, right, I'm going to do a self-reflection, an AAR, an after-action review on, did I live in alignment with integrity today? Did I do the things that I said I was going to do today? So that's what I want you guys to do, is pick between 6 and 10, and then I want you to write down what it means to you, and then how you can go about measuring this on a daily, and if not daily, at least at a minimum a weekly basis, to ask yourself questions about this value. And I've got a little fillable PDF here for you as well that just says this is the value meaning, and how I'm going to measure it. So that is personal values. So like I said, between 6 and 10, you're going to choose, and you're going to jot those down, and you're going to figure out a way that you can connect with those and do an after action review at the end of the day or at a minimum at the end of the week to make sure you're living in alignment with those values. Now, the fun part is your family values. This is something that has been so impactful for me as a father and so impactful for our family, is crafting these family values. And so, you are the leader of your family, right? You're the leader of your home. You set the tone. And if if you're not leading your family, nobody is going to. It's not going to be led. And so it's your responsibility to craft the vision. It's your responsibility to set the tone. It's your responsibility to lead. And part of leadership is defining what values your family will live by, right? What is our standard? What is our code that we live by? What's important? What's non-negotiable? What are the characteristics that our children will adopt and start to live by? And so during this exercise, what I want you to do is think about what values are not only important to you from your personal values, but what values do you want your family to resonate with and embody and live by? So I want you to take some time and think of your family values. Again, I've got a huge list of values here at the top, not exhaustive, but it's a good one to go off of. And I want you to come up with a few sentences that are going to really define your family values for you. And so I've got my example here for our family. We keep it pretty simple because my kids are young. And as they get older, we'll start to expand on this and add in more values that are important to us. But for right now, this is our camp family values. So the camps are kind, the camps are strong, and the camps are brave. And what do? The camps do the right things, we do the hard things, and we do the fun things. Now, this is something so simple, so foundational, yet it has such an impact on not only me, but my family. And specific example on this is I try to incorporate our family values on a daily basis with our kids. So for drop off, right? For school drop off, if I'm dropping them off, right before they get out of the car, I say, hey, who are you? And they say, I'm a camp. I say, cool. What are camps? And they repeat this back to me, right? They say the camps are kind, the camps are strong, the camps are brave. And my girls, of course, they added on another one that says the camps are beautiful. So that's fine too. The camps are beautiful. And they say the camps are handsome for me and my son. But I say, okay, that's great. And I say, okay, so what's one thing you can do when you get to school that's going to be kind, right? And so they have to think about what's one thing they can do. And so, they'll say, hey, maybe I can go tell my teacher that she looks great today, or go give my teacher a hug, or go tell somebody that I love their hair, or something like that, right? When they get into school. And so this not only lets them identify as that, right, as a camp, and this is the values we have, but it helps them embody that through their actions as well. And so they're actually going out and doing these things, right? Because that's what camps do. And so, it's just extremely impactful, guys. There's so many examples I could use from that. But once you craft your family values, you can start incorporating these into your daily routines with your kids, and have them really start living and embodying these values. And now they have something to identify with that's going to be so important. And so I want you guys to think through, what you think your family values can be. And then similar to the last exercise, once you guys are done with this, I want you to whip out your phone. I want you to turn around and I want you to record what your family values are. And then I want you to post that into the Epic Dad Crew. So that is step 2. And that is the last part of pillar 1, which is identity and values. Again, if you have any questions on this, shoot a note to the group. I'm sure a lot of the guys would be happy to jump in and talk you through this, or shoot me a DM. I'm always happy to get on and go back and forth with you and provide some clarity on this if you have any questions. So that is it, guys. Go craft your personal and your family values.